Can you talk a little bit more about, I haven't heard that before, the variety of a subdivide so you're not competing against yourself? And yeah, can you talk a little more about that?
Don't always have that luxury because the topography in Tennessee is a little bit wild sometimes. So sometimes the split is what it is because of what you need to do based on the terrain, right? But if
For configuration, yeah.
uh, if we're actually if we have some flexibility, we definitely do try to vary the track sizes so that we can market them in different places for different people. And the goal isn't always for us to go to the smallest that we can with the county restrictions. Sometimes it really is that this 20 acres should stay together for this reason. And then next to it might be a smaller tract that's easier to manage and not as expensive because there definitely are cash buyers that can't do a larger tract even if they want to, and then there are some that want to. Even still, we did do a subdivide where we did that to vary the tracts to vary the audience, and then the same buyer has now come back 3 different times for 3 for tracks. So
Or returning it to the original deed.
No, that's good.
saving up more money and saying, "You just wait for me," and we did, and it's been awesome. Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, so I'm picturing, okay, 40 acres and you might do a 20 acre, a 10 acre and two fives or something like where you, okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
A lot of
It-
times the price per acre increases for the 5 acres or 5 to 10 acres
Yeah.
per acre will make up for maybe your 20 acre that you had to leave big because it's less money. How do I say that? I don't. But
mhm.
price per acre is higher when it's a little bit lower usually. I think that part of it too, looking at it that way helps you just do the math, split it.
Yeah, it feels like the default is generally just split it up as tiny as much as you possibly can and then sell it off. I love that angle. You're both constantly contrarian with your takes on land, which I like. That's cool. Very cool.
That
Um,
said, we just are now in the process of proposing a preliminary plat that goes as small as 2 acres. Is that right, Mary? Yeah. It's the whole project is 121 acres. And then what we did, it's split in the middle with a road. So south of the road, and this is also dictated by the land itself, the front 2 or 3 acres are beautiful and flat, and then they back up to a year-round creek that's also really desirable. Everybody wants a place for their barn dough and a creek in the back. And then beyond that is a really steep cliff. And so what we did is we took the west end and we gave them the same 3 acres or so that are buildable on the front. And then they own all of the kind of rough terrain, hiking land, hunting land in the back. And then in the front, we made, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 tracks that are between 2 and 3 acres each. And they do meet the county restrictions in terms of road frontage and then the angle of the split that it's 90 degrees from the road. We can get enough water taps, all confirmed by the utilities companies. The commissioners really being favorable and helpful. And so this is a first for us, is that we're actually going to go through the county approvals for it's not a major subdivide. We do need to get some fire hydrants. Those are also new.
fun.
Yeah, well, we have a fire
Party
hydrant.
time.
Yeah, I mean, woo. But I think it wasn't the plan, but it made sense. And then the price per acre, the proximity to the town, all just pointed in the direction. And then when the county was also really helpful, it was okay, let's give it a go. So we don't know if we're approved yet. I think December 6th, 9th. Yep. Or 9th is the first meeting. So
With the county, how much of that comes down to your relationship with the county versus just what the regs are? Like, does a really good relationship help, or is it just it's cut and dry and it's
it seems a little bit of both. I mean, I think the county knows what they want to see happen in that area. So if if they're against it for any reason, any number of steaks or donuts is not going to change the guy's mind. But in this case, I don't think that they mind seeing development. in the direction that we're going. And he's been very communicative all along. And so I think we are building a relationship, and I do think he likes us, and we're following through on everything we say that we're going to do. But more than that, it's that the county is agreeable to seeing some development in that area. And the utilities support it. I think that's the other big thing, right? Is that the fact that they have plenty of water and that the fiber and the electricity is already there. That's
Makes
probably
sense. That's why it's there. Yeah. Not to be developed probably into a tiny little subdivide or cul-de-sac, but I think that they like that it's 2 acres is a nice place to build a home, but it's not 20 homes.
and then for others, it's not that easy to find 2 acres or 3 or 4 or even 5 that are unrestricted. And we also do always leave our land unrestricted. We learned that lesson early on, but
We're still learning it.
It sounds like there's a story around that. What's the
No, we just have one HOA property that
wow.
it'll sell.
Yeah.
or yeah, it's a stinker.
And I think we already really would just buy anything.
That's
Yeah.
true. We also had one property that had very minor restrictions, like no pig farms or junkyards, I think were the two things on there. And that was enough that it was like, nope, minor restriction, I'm out. But are you planning on having a junkyard or farm?
Just on principle, huh? Wow.
So we leave it unrestricted.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. You had a note burned up B-lock.
Yeah, we sure did. We just burned that B-lock right up.
Ew. What is that?
She sold down.
My husband and I have a rental property that is paid off. And so we had just the B-lock sitting there. And we thought, okay, let's make sure we just open it up while we're home. Because also it's a lot of paperwork and you have to actually physically be in the office, which is not a big deal for most people. But for us, the time that it took to get it open was probably about 6 weeks, which is about the time that we have in the summer when we're in America.
Mhm.
And so we just opened it up to make sure that it was there if we needed it. And then we were happy that it was, because then a broker did bring us an on-market deal that fell through. The original buyer wasn't able to sell their property, so they weren't able to buy this property. And the seller was already really anticipating the sell and it had made other plans. So then that broker called us and said, hey, are you guys ready to pull the trigger with cash? If you are and you can move quickly, I think you can get a hell of a deal on this one. And so we did, actually. And that one hit the market. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats.
We use thank you. We use the B-lock money to be ready to roll so that we could pull the trigger on that one.
Nice. That's like something I've seen people give advice for is get money or get access to your money or loans, etc., and apply for lines of credit before you need them, because having them liquid and ready to go is the way to set yourself up for opportunity. So it sounds like you got that all lined up. Perfect timing.